I guess every one of us has seen it. All these famous people showing off with their super luxurious yacht and making us jealous. But what is the real cost of owning such a boat? Stay tuned. Well, first of all, it is not that easy to answer this question, because, as you might already know from your last holiday to a beautiful sunny beach, boats come in a lot of different sizes and shapes. Prices vary from as cheap as a few €1,000 up to tens and even hundreds of millions of euros for the more luxurious yachts. So, indeed, if you're an average person, you are most probably not able to afford one, unless you are planning to become a stripper to pay for it. Okay. Let's move on. First, let's have a look at the price to actually buy one of these bad boys. For the scope of this video, we will have a look at an average motor yacht which is affordable for most of the rich people. Such an average yacht costs around 1.5 million euros all the way up to around 6 million. For this amount, you will typically get a yacht that is approximately 30 meters long. So indeed, this average piece of floating aluminium is still only affordable for the 1%. But why is there such a huge price range for a 30-meter yacht? Well, this all depends on supply and demand. For all normal people watching this video that are not very familiar with buying boats, you can compare this to buying a car. Normally, people will pay more for a Lamborghini than for a Ford. These cars also have the same length, but apart from the length and the four wheels, they have not much in common. The same principle applies for super yachts. Price depends on the brand, building material, durability, and so on. So, let's think about a fictive character. Tim tells his friends that he is a very good businessman and that is the way he earned his money. In reality, Tim loves to gamble, and he was just lucky to win the lottery last week. But still, Tim is rich, and he decides to buy a beautiful boat and keep this for 20 years. He won 12 million and buys a yacht of 30 meters. For this, he pays the small price of 3 million euros. Let's play a little game to make it more interesting for you guys. My question for you, if Tim won 12 million euros and plans to buy the 3 million boat, how many of it can he actually buy? 4, right? Let's continue with the video and come back to it later in the video. Okay, let's be clear. Once you buy a boat, the expenses are far from over. Yachts cost a lot more than the price tag they come with. Boats require a high upkeep cost. Generally, the upkeep costs for boats are around 15% of the purchase price annually. For the yacht that Tim bought, he will be paying 450,000 euros every year just to operate and maintain it. But what are these operating and maintenance costs? Let's dig a little deeper into it. Fuel, vessel insurance, dockage fees, maintenance, repairs, and crew salaries are typically the heftiest running costs. Wait, what? Crew salaries? Yes, you heard this right. The rich and famous are not going to cook themselves, and certainly not going to wash their super yacht. Or what did you think? On board such a super yacht, you can typically find a captain, a few chefs, the cleaning personnel, stewards, and sometimes even an engineer. For Tim's yacht of 30 meters, the crew cost will be around 35% of the annual operating fee. So in this case, he will pay around 160,000 euros every year. The other big part of the annual expenses is the fuel cost. Of course, fuel prices can vary throughout the years, but generally speaking, it will also take 35% of the annual costs. So in Tim's case, around 160,000 euros. So, are boats a good investment? The simple answer is no. As we already found out, they cost a huge amount to maintain. Apart from that, the value of a boat is not going to rise over time. Even more, boats depreciate very quickly. Generally speaking, after 10 years, the yacht will lose around 30% of its value, and after 20 years, Tim's super yacht will have lost around 50 to 60% of its original value. Let's do the math. Tim bought the boat for 3 million. Every year, he needs to maintain and operate the boat, which costs him after 20 years around 9 million euros. This makes a total of 12 million. Of course, after this 20 years, Tim will be smart enough to sell his boat, which he will be hating by then due to the huge costs. But that is just a side note. As said, the value will drop to around 50% of the original price. This means the boat is now worth 1.5 million on the market. So the total cost was 12 millions, minus the selling value of 1.5 million. This brings the total price tag to own this super yacht for 20 years to 10.5 millions. Do you remember the question earlier in this video? where we said that Tim could buy 4 boats with his 12 million. Well, it turned out that you could only buy 1. I almost got a heart attack the first time I found this out. So, if there's one thing you need to remember after watching this video, never buy a boat unless you're Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, or Mark Zuckerberg. Thanks for watching this video. If you want more content like this, please subscribe. If you know an interesting topic to make a video about, leave a comment. Stay nice and happy. See you next time.